I never imagined my life could flip upside down in a single glance. But there I was, in the crowded lobby of a New York City tech conference, locking eyes with a stranger who made my heart stutter for the first time in 28 years. His name was Jeremy, and he wasn't just any guy. He was the keynote speaker, charismatic and sharp, with a smile that cut through the corporate buzz like sunlight through fog. By the end of that day, I found myself questioning everything I thought I knew about myself, including the straight label I'd worn like a badge of honor since high school. My name is Jordan Hayes, and I grew up in a small town in Ohio, where life was as predictable as the seasons. Football games on Fridays, church on Sundays, and the unspoken rule that guys like me dated girls, got married, and built families in neat suburban homes. I followed that script to the letter. Captain of the varsity team, prom king with my high school sweetheart Emily, and then off to college on a scholarship. After graduation, I landed a solid job as a software engineer in Manhattan, where the fast pace suited my ambition. I dated a few women here and there, nothing serious, but enough to keep up appearances. My friends teased me about being a perpetual bachelor, but I always laughed it off, saying I was waiting for the right one. Deep down, though, I felt a nagging emptiness, like something was missing from the puzzle of my life. The conference was supposed to be just another networking event, a chance to pitch our company's latest app to potential investors. I arrived early, coffee in hand, scanning the room for familiar faces. That's when I saw him, Jeremy Rivera, mid-30s, with tousled dark hair and eyes that seemed to hold stories of their own. He was adjusting his microphone on stage during a sound check, joking with the crew in a way that made everyone around him relax. I didn't know why, but I couldn't look away. When our eyes met, he flashed that grin, and it hit me like a jolt, warm, inviting, and utterly disarming. I shook it off as admiration. After all, he was a rising star in the tech world, founder of an AI startup that was revolutionizing healthcare. During his talk, Jeremy spoke about innovation with passion, weaving in personal anecdotes about overcoming obstacles as a first-generation immigrant from Mexico. He mentioned his family's sacrifices, the cultural clashes he'd faced, and how those experiences fueled his drive. The audience hung on every word, but I felt like he was speaking directly to me. Afterward, in the mingle session, I mustered the courage to approach him. "Great speech," I said, extending my hand. "I'm Jordan. Your story about pushing boundaries really resonated." He shook my hand firmly, his touch lingering just a second longer than expected. "Thanks, Jordan. Boundaries are meant to be tested, right? What brings you here?" We talked for what felt like minutes but turned out to be an hour, about code, startups, and oddly enough, our shared love for hiking in the Adirondacks. There was an ease to it, a connection that flowed without effort. By the time we exchanged numbers, promising to grab coffee sometime, I felt lighter, more alive than I had in years. Back at my apartment that night, I replayed the conversation in my head. Why did his laugh echo in my mind? Why did I feel a pull toward him that I'd never felt with anyone else? I dismissed it as professional respect, maybe even a bromance in the making. But over the next few weeks, our texts turned into daily rituals. He'd send memes about buggy code. I'd share articles on emerging tech. One evening, he suggested meeting up for that coffee, and I agreed without hesitation. We met at a cozy spot in Greenwich Village, the kind with exposed brick and artisanal brews. Jeremy arrived in jeans and a casual button-down, looking effortlessly put together. As we talked, the conversation deepened. He opened up about his life, how he'd come out as gay in college, the rejection from some family members, and the freedom he'd found in authenticity. "It wasn't easy," he admitted, stirring his latte. "My parents are traditional. They expected grandkids and a daughter-in-law. But hiding who I am was killing me inside." I listened, nodding, but inside, a storm brewed. His words stirred something unfamiliar, a mirror to my own unspoken doubts. "What about you?" he asked. "Any serious relationships?" I hesitated, then shared about Emily and a couple of flings since. "I've always been straight," I said, the words feeling heavier than usual. He didn't push, just smiled knowingly. "Life has a way of surprising you." As we parted ways, he hugged me goodbye. A quick, friendly embrace that sent a shiver down my spine. Walking home, I felt conflicted. Was this attraction? No, I told myself. I'm straight. But the seed was planted, and it grew with every interaction. Soon, our meetings became regular. Hikes on weekends, dinners after work. Jeremy introduced me to his circle of friends, a diverse group that included other LGBTQ+ folks who shared their stories openly. One night, at a rooftop party, a guy named Mike pulled me aside. "You and Jeremy seem close," he said with a wink. "He's a catch." I laughed it off, but the comment lingered. My own friends noticed changes too. My roommate, Dave, teased me about my new bestie. "Dude, you're spending more time with him than anyone else. What's the deal?" I brushed it off as networking, but deep down I knew it was more. The internal conflict intensified. Late nights, I'd stare at the ceiling, wrestling with feelings I couldn't name. Society had taught me that men like me didn't fall for other men. What would my family say? My parents, devout Christians from the Midwest, still asked when I'd settle down with a nice girl. One weekend, Jeremy invited me to a cabin upstate for a getaway with friends. The drive was filled with laughter and music, but as the group dwindled to just us by the fire pit, the air shifted. We talked about dreams, fears, and vulnerabilities. "I've never felt this connected to someone," Jeremy confessed, his eyes meeting mine. My heart raced. In that moment, I leaned in, and our lips met. A soft, tentative kiss that ignited everything I'd suppressed. Panic set in immediately. I pulled back, stammering apologies. "I'm sorry, I can't." "I'm not." Jeremy looked hurt but understanding. "It's okay, Jordan. Take your time." I fled to my room, mind reeling. Was this who I was? The next morning, we drove back in awkward silence, the beginning of a rift that would test us both. The weeks following that kiss were a whirlwind of confusion and avoidance. I buried myself in work, ignoring Jeremy's texts until they tapered off. But the silence only amplified my turmoil. Every time I saw a happy couple on the street, straight, gay, whatever, it reminded me of what I'd run from. My productivity tanked. I'd zone out in meetings, replaying that moment by the fire. Finally, unable to stand it, I called my sister, Lisa, the only family member I trusted with my secrets. She's 5 years older, living in Chicago with her husband and kids, but we'd always been close. "What's eating you, Jord?" she asked over the phone. I hesitated, then spilled it all, the conference, the friendship, the kiss. There was a long pause. "Wow," she said softly. "I never pegged you for. But hey, love is love, right? Have you talked to him?" I admitted I hadn't. "Then fix it. Life's too short to hide." Her words gave me courage, but also fear. What if this was just a phase? What if I hurt him? Gathering my nerve, I texted Jeremy. "Can we talk?" He replied quickly, "Sure. My place." That evening, I showed up at his Brooklyn loft, nerves frayed. He let me in, offering a beer, and we sat on the couch. "I'm sorry for ghosting," I started. "That kiss, it scared me." He nodded. "I get it. Coming to terms with your sexuality isn't easy, especially in a world that pushes heteronormativity." We talked for hours about my upbringing, the societal pressures, and how I'd always felt out of place in relationships with women. Jeremy shared more of his story. The bullying in high school, the therapy sessions, the eventual acceptance from most of his family. "It's not about labels," he said. "It's about who makes you feel whole." By the end of the night, we agreed to take things slow. No pressure, just exploring what this could be. Our first real date was simple. A walk through Central Park, holding hands tentatively. Felt right, natural, but the world around us wasn't always kind. A group of tourists stared. An older man muttered something under his breath. Jeremy squeezed my hand. "Ignore them. This is our moment." But those microaggressions chipped away at my confidence. Back at work, rumors started swirling. A colleague, Sarah, who I'd dated briefly last year, cornered me in the break room. "Heard you're seeing that guy from the conference. Didn't know you swung that way." Her tone was casual, but it stung. Like my identity was fodder for office gossip. I deflected, but inside, anger bubbled. Why did my personal life matter to them? The conflicts escalated when I visited home for Thanksgiving. My parents' house was the same as always, warm, welcoming, with the scent of turkey and pies. But as we sat around the table, the conversation turned to politics. My dad, a retired factory worker, ranted about the gay agenda infiltrating schools. "It's unnatural," he said, pounding the table. Mom nodded along, adding, "We need to protect traditional values." I sat there, stomach churning, unable to speak. Lisa shot me a sympathetic look, but I felt like a fraud. That night, in my old room, I called Jeremy, tears streaming. "I can't do this. My family would disown me." He listened patiently. "You don't have to tell them yet, but hiding will only hurt more." Despite the doubts, our relationship deepened. Jeremy became my anchor, introducing me to support groups where I met others who'd questioned their sexuality later in life. One man, in his 40s, shared how he'd left a marriage for his truth, facing custody battles and judgment. "It's worth it," he said. "Authenticity is freedom." Inspired, I started therapy, unpacking years of internalized homophobia. But society threw more curveballs. At a company event, our CEO made a joke about diversity hires, implying quotas for LGBTQ+ employees undermined merit. Jeremy, who I'd invited as my +1, tensed beside me. Later, in the car, he vented. "That's the kind of crap that keeps people in the closet." I agreed, but it made me question my job security. What if coming out affected my career? The turning point came during Pride Month. Jeremy wanted to attend the parade, but I hesitated, fearing exposure. "It's about visibility," he urged. Reluctantly, I went. The energy was electric, colors, music, people celebrating unapologetically. For the first time, I felt part of something bigger. We kissed amid the crowd, and no one batted an eye. But as we left, a protester shouted slurs, holding signs about sin and damnation. It shook me, reminding me of the hate still out there. That night, back home, I confessed my fears to Jeremy. "What if this ruins everything?" He pulled me close. "What if it makes everything better?" Our bond strengthened, but the external pressures mounted, setting the stage for bigger conflicts ahead. As summer faded into fall, our relationship hit its stride. Secret dates turned into weekends away, whispered "I love yous" in quiet moments. But the secrecy weighed on me like a shadow. I wanted to shout it from the rooftops, yet fear held me back. Jeremy was patient, but I saw the strain in his eyes. "I don't want to be your hidden chapter," he said one evening over dinner. "I deserve more." His words cut deep, forcing me to confront my cowardice. The first major clash came at work. Our company landed a big client, a conservative firm from the South known for anti-LGBTQ+ stances. During a team meeting, my boss assigned me to lead the project. "Jordan's our straight shooter," he quipped, oblivious to the irony. I froze, then later confided in Sarah, now a friend. "I'm not straight," I admitted. She hugged me. "Proud of you. But be careful, this client is old school." Torn, I debated quitting, but bills loomed. Jeremy encouraged me. "Stand up for yourself. Change comes from within." Inspired, I emailed HR about inclusivity training. The response was lukewarm, but it sparked office discussions. Some colleagues supported. Others whispered about pushing agendas. One guy, Tom, confronted me in the hallway. "Why rock the boat? Not everyone's comfortable with that stuff." His words echoed societal divides, fueling my resolve. Family tensions boiled over during a surprise visit from my parents. They showed up unannounced, excited about a family reunion. Over brunch, Mom probed, "Any girls in your life?" I dodged, but Dad noticed my discomfort. "Something's off with you, son." That afternoon, as we walked through the city, we passed a gay couple holding hands. Dad scoffed. "Disgusting. What's the world coming to?" Rage surged. "They're just people, Dad. Like me." The words slipped out. Silence fell. Mom gasped. "What do you mean?" I took a breath. I'm dating a man. His name is Jeremy. Chaos ensued. Dad's face reddened. No son of mine is that. Mom cried, quoting Bible verses. They left in a huff, vowing to pray for me. Lisa called later, supportive but worried. Give them time. They're from a different era. But the rejection stung, amplifying my isolation. Jeremy was my rock, but even our relationship faced cracks. His ex, Miguel, reappeared, offering closure on past hurts. Jealousy flared when Jeremy met him for coffee. It's nothing, he assured, but I spiraled, questioning if I was enough. You're new to this, he said gently. Trust me. We argued, my insecurities clashing with his need for space. I can't be your therapist and boyfriend, he snapped. It was our first big fight, ending in tears and make-up hugs, but it highlighted the emotional labor of my awakening. Socially, controversies piled on. A viral news story about a teacher fired for being gay hit close to home. Jeremy volunteered at a nonprofit fighting such discrimination. I joined him at a rally. Chanting slogans, surrounded by allies, I felt empowered. But counter-protesters hurled insults, one even spitting at us. Go back to the closet. Police intervened, but the incident left me shaken. This is the reality, Jeremy said. Are you in? I nodded, but doubt lingered. Therapy helped unpack it all. My counselor, Dr. Patel, challenged me. Your choices define you, not society's expectations. Sessions revealed how media and culture had shaped my self-denial, movies glorifying straight romances, ads ignoring queer narratives. I read books like The Velvet Rage, relating to stories of shame and triumph. The climax built during the holidays. My parents invited me home, but only if I left that lifestyle behind. I refused, choosing to spend Christmas with Jeremy's family instead. His parents, though initially wary, welcomed me warmly. Love is what matters, his mom said, hugging me. It was healing, but bittersweet, highlighting what I'd lost. Meanwhile, at work, the client deal soured when they discovered my orientation via social media. We can't align with that, their rep emailed. My boss blamed me. You should have kept it private. Furious, I quit, landing a job at a progressive startup. Jeremy beamed with pride. See? Authenticity pays off. But as winter set in, a bigger storm brewed. Jeremy got a job offer in San Francisco. A dream role, but it meant relocation. Come with me, he pleaded. Torn between love and roots, I wavered. Family reconciliation seemed possible. Lisa hinted Dad was softening. Yet moving meant embracing my identity fully, away from judgment. The decision loomed, tensions peaking in heated discussions. I can't wait forever, Jeremy said. My heart ached. Love versus security, self versus society. The conflicts converged, forcing a choice that would change everything. The job offer hung over us like a storm cloud, amplifying every disagreement. Jeremy paced our shared apartment. Yes, we'd moved in together months ago, a step that felt bold yet terrifying. This could be our fresh start, he argued, away from the East Coast biases. I countered, what about my life here? My sister, my new job. Deep down, it was fear talking, fear of fully committing to a gay life in a new city, where I'd have no excuses to hide. Society's thumbprints were everywhere. A Supreme Court case on LGBTQ+ rights dominated headlines, with arguments echoing my parents' views. Protests erupted. Jeremy dragged me to one in D.C. standing amid signs and chants. I felt the weight of history. A speaker shared his story of conversion therapy horror, forced cures that scarred him. It hit hard. I dodged that bullet, but how many hadn't? Back home, we debated, is progress real, or just lip service? Jeremy believed in fighting. I worried about burnout. Personal betrayals added fuel. Dave, my old roommate, distanced himself after learning about us. It's cool, man, but not my scene. His words hurt, a reminder that even liberal friends had limits. At Jeremy's nonprofit gala, I met activists pushing for change, their passion infectious. One woman, a trans advocate, shared tales of workplace discrimination. Visibility matters, she said. Inspired, I volunteered more, but it clashed with my introverted nature. Family drama escalated. Dad called unexpectedly. Your mother's not sleeping. Come home. Let's talk. Hope flickered. I flew to Ohio alone, leaving Jeremy behind. The dinner was tense. Mom hugged me tightly, eyes teary. We love you, but it's against God's plan. Dad softened slightly. I don't understand it, but you're my son. We argued civilly about scripture, science, and choice. It's not a choice, I insisted. It's who I am. They listened, a small victory but no full acceptance. Pray on it, Mom urged. Leaving, I felt progress, but the divide remained. Back in New York, Jeremy greeted me with concern. How'd it go? I shared the details, but he sensed my hesitation about moving. If you're not ready, say so. We fought again, accusations flying. You're using family as an excuse, he yelled. Maybe I'm not ready to uproot everything. Hurt, he slept on the couch. The next day, we reconciled, but fragility lingered. External pressures mounted with a hate crime in the news. A gay couple attacked in Brooklyn. It shook us. Jeremy wanted to march, I feared risks. Hiding won't protect us, he said. We attended, linking arms with thousands. Empowerment surged, but so did anxiety. What if that was us? Therapy intensified. Dr. Patel probed. What's really holding you back? I admitted. Internalized shame, fear of regret. What if I'm not really gay? What if this is a mistake? She nodded. Sexuality can be fluid, but denying feelings leads to misery. Homework. Journal my emotions. Pages filled with love for Jeremy, mixed with societal doubts. The decision deadline approached. Jeremy packed boxes tentatively. I love you, but I can't pass this up. Torn, I sought advice from the support group. Stories varied. Some moved for love, thriving. Others stayed, regretting. One guy warned, don't let fear win. Climax hit during a weekend trip to the Hamptons, meant to clear our heads. Beach walks turned introspective. I thought I was straight until you, I confessed. You changed everything. Jeremy smiled sadly. But is that enough? Waves crashed as we kissed, passion mixed with desperation. That night, in the cottage, we talked till dawn, dreams, compromises. What if I commute? I suggested. He shook his head. Long distance kills relationships. Returning home, a bombshell. My parents emailed, inviting Jeremy for Easter. We want to meet him. Shock turned to joy, then conflict. This could be reconciliation, I told Jeremy. But the job. He sighed. Choose what's right for you. Agonizing, I weighed options. Society's debates raged. Bills banning gay adoptions. Celebrities coming out amid backlash. It all felt personal. Finally, I decided I'd move with him. But as I prepared to say it, doubt crept in. What if family ties snapped? What if career stalled? The night before his flight, tensions exploded. I can't do half measures, Jeremy said, tears flowing. It's all or nothing. Heartbroken, I faltered. I need more time. He nodded, defeated. Then this is goodbye. Packing his things, he left for a hotel. Alone, regret washed over me. Had I lost the love of my life to fear? The conflicts, internal, familial, societal, had culminated in this painful crossroads. The days after Jeremy left were a blur of emptiness. His side of the bed cold, his laugh absent from my apartment. I threw myself into work, but everything reminded me of him. Code snippets we'd debugged together, cafes we'd frequented. Friends checked in. Sarah urged, fight for him, but pride and fear held me back. Texts went unanswered, calls to voicemail. Society's mirror reflected my turmoil. A documentary on Netflix about late-blooming queers resonated. Men in their 30s discovering truths, facing backlash. One interviewee lost his job. Another gained a community. Regret is the real enemy, he said. Inspired, I reached out to my parents. Jeremy is gone. I confessed over video call. Mom teared up. We pushed too hard. Bring him back. We'll try. Dad grumbled but agreed. If he makes you happy. Their shift, born from love and time, gave hope. But reconciliation required action. I booked a flight to San Francisco, heart pounding. Landing, I texted, "I'm here. Can we talk?" Hours later, he replied, "My new place. Address attached." The cab ride felt eternal, nerves fraying. He opened the door, looking weary but surprised. "Jordan." We hugged fiercely, words tumbling. "I was wrong. I'm ready. To move, to be us, fully." He pulled back. "What changed?" I shared the family update, my realizations. "I choose you over fear." We spent the weekend rebuilding. Walks in Golden Gate Park, honest talks about hurts. "I felt like your experiment," he admitted. "Never," I assured. "You're my certainty." Forgiveness came slowly, but love prevailed. I quit my job remotely, applying to Bay Area firms. Acceptance emails rolled in, one from Jeremy's company, ironically. Settling in San Francisco brought new challenges. The city's progressive vibe was liberating, pride flags everywhere, open affection normalized. But not utopia. A bakery refused service to a same-sex couple nearby, sparking protests. We joined, voices uniting against discrimination. "This is why we fight," Jeremy said. My confidence grew. I came out publicly on social media, receiving mixed reactions. Old friends congratulated. Some unfollowed. Family adapted. Easter video calls with Jeremy included, awkward but genuine. Yet controversies persisted. A work colleague debated gay privilege in hiring, ignoring systemic biases. I challenged him. Try living with constant judgment. Discussions turned heated, but productive. Therapy continued virtually. Dr. Patel praised my growth. "You've chosen authenticity." Our relationship flourished amid it all. Anniversaries celebrated with hikes, echoing our first connection. But life's twists kept coming. Jeremy's promotion meant travel. Jealousy tested us when he bonded with a coworker. "Trust is key," he reminded. We navigated, stronger for the scars. Socially, we volunteered at youth centers, mentoring questioning teens. One boy, 17, shared fears mirroring mine. "Will my parents accept me?" We offered hope. Many do with time. It was rewarding, but heartbreaking, reminding me of ongoing struggles. As years blurred, months into our new life, a major conflict arose. Jeremy's family faced immigration issues for a cousin, tangled in anti-LGBTQ+ policies abroad. We advocated donating to causes, but bureaucracy frustrated. "Why does love have borders?" Jeremy lamented. It bonded us further, turning pain into purpose. Reflecting, my journey from denial to embrace was fraught with debates. Nature versus nurture, choice versus innate. Society's evolving norms, marriage equality wins, yet persistent hate mirrored my path. Friends married, we discussed rings, future kids via adoption. "Ready?" Jeremy asked. "With you, yes." But doubts lingered in quiet moments. Had I truly changed or adapted? Therapy affirmed. Fluidity exists, but my love was real. In the end, we built a life intertwined. Careers thriving, community strong, love unwavering. Yet the world's divisions persisted, prompting endless questions. Is it true that one person can redefine your entire identity? Or do we all just bend to societal winds?